Blessings against people. Thanks for being here again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is the eve of the day where, guess what? Tomorrow will be the squad job for the reggaeboyz team. The release of the 23-man squad, the upcoming games for Bermuda and Trinidad and Tobago. Massive day, massive day. It's going to be a lot of surprise. It's going to be a lot of downfall of people going to be like, whoa, this player is in the squad, that player is not in the squad. So, hope you guys bracing yourself for, a surprising moment and also a little bit of a shocking news as well, some breaking news of who will be in the squad and who will not be in the squad. Every time when there will be a squad drop, there will always be some downfall. There will always be some, some happy moments around the team of people, favorite players, are in the team and stuff like that. But I want to speak on, a few matters, this morning about, a few players. Look, I'm going to touch on the Karoy Anderson, where I've been doing, a little bit of, scratch my head researching around. I think it was like the last couple of days about Karoy, especially that game that he played, on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup away. I think it was Cambridge, and I don't remember if it was Cambridge or Stevenage, but one of those games that they lost 3-1. They got a red card. He got sent off in, I think, the last 7 minutes of the game, close to around the 90-minute mark. But Karoy Anderson is a young player. He will be 21 coming. I think October he will be 21. But I'm not sure if I'm seeing that real progress. Karoy Anderson is making over the last couple of years. Look, when he came through, he went out on loan a short stint at Aldershot Town. I think that was a non-league team. When Karoy was probably around 16, 17, he was scouting by, a few championship clubs, a few, Premier League clubs, clubs that were up in the higher tier of English football, looking at him like, yeah, he could be a potential player, for that football club in the future, or he could probably be at that, potential very good sales, in the future for that club to go on to make a profit. You know how these things goes already with young players and stuff like that. But at that time, he worth the gambling of a club in the higher tier from League One, Championship and Premier League clubs looking at him, and he was scout, I think, one time by, a Manchester United scout as well. So he got that breakthrough, 23-24 season where, look, it was a wonderful season for him. I think he played like 28 games and he started more than 90% of those games. And then when you look at the other season, he went on to play even more games in the League One, the campaign that, he played an integral part of, helping the team getting their promotion, into the championship this season. But when you look at some of those, 46 games, you could say 50% of those games, came off the bench. He wasn't a really regular starter in Nathan Jones' team. But again, when you look at even when he got called up for the reggaeboyz team, since look he made his debut for the national team, and when you look at even the Isaac Hayden, the situation, even look at the Isaac situation where Isaac Hayden went down with some stomach bug and stuff like that. So he got called up, and he was in the World Cup squad. I think he got played. I think he played the game versus Guadeloupe, the game that we won 2-1 as well, and I think he got some minutes in the Panamanian game as well. But when you look at how he played in a few World Cup qualifier games. I think in the early stages of the World Cup qualifier, in the state of when Emir Al-Grimsey was coaching the team, and he just didn't look settled. I know he's a young player, you're going to get these ups and down farm. But I would love to know, from you guys, what you guys think about, Karoy Anderson and how his career is progressing at this moment. And I'm looking at like, when he come and play for the reggaeboyz, he's not showing that dominance. He's not showing like a player that come through a very good academy. He's not showing that spell of where he had in the first breakout season at Charlton Athletic in the League One, and he's not even showing that at the moment. And when you look currently at the moment, he's like probably the third choice midfielder coming off the bench, as a central midfielder for Charlton Athletic in the championship. And I'm just wondering that, maybe he's one of the players in that squad at this moment that is suffering a little bit from the early, promotion to the championship. Maybe that's not his level as yet, but even it goes back to last season, he wasn't really showing that right attitude. Yes, he came on, he showed flashes in League One, in the champion, in the campaign of the promotion push to championship. He showed a little bit of spell, he showed a little bit of display of what Seria A can do, but it never really happened consistently where the manager goes where, okay, Seria A need to get a run of games. He did get a run of game, but it was just on and off. He wasn't really bringing the game into the midfield. He wasn't showing that right attitude. And when I look at Seria Anderson's stats, as a midfielder, I mean, morning. Look, when you look at even, Seria Anderson's stats, his passing accuracy, his short passing, it's not even up there as a footballer, so it starts, look, as a midfielder, these are stuff that counts, your passing accuracy, how you take control of the game, your assist, how, you dictate the game as a midfielder, how you set the tempo as a midfielder. And I see that someone that, every time when he get on the football pitch, he have something, he wants to prove it so badly, but I just think that he's not settling. I think he's not, look, he's an aggressive player. He can be a little bit erratic. He can be a little bit over the top. Do some weird stuff at times to get, some weird yellow cards. So he's a very aggressive player. He's a very moody player. It depends on the atmosphere of the game. He can come into a game and he just start to boil over the top. So, very emotional player, but I think, as age goes by, he should learn how to control, those type of emotion, get into the rhythm of the game and try to set the tempo of the game. And as I said, it starts when you're talking about not his goals, not his assists, but his passing accuracy, his short passing. It's not right up there. His touches in game, it's not right up there to the best of the best players that played in his league as well. And look at other youngsters, in his position, in around the league where he's playing, they are way better than him. So I think his career is not making that progress at this moment. And when he got that game versus, I think, Guadeloupe, he came on and look at that challenge that he made. It almost got him a red card. He came on in the game, I think, the start of the second half, and he almost got a red card. So, there's a lot of factors around Seria Anderson game where it just not adding up at this moment. And even goes back to the game that he played on Tuesday in the Carabao Cup. He got a yellow card in the game. The manager said he spoke to him in the dressing room at the end of the first half, and he's like, Karoy, be careful. What Karoy did, probably 40 minutes later, he went and did something stupid. I don't know why he's trying to put his foot up there when he should just try to head the football. But again, this is what a manager, Nathan Jones talking after a devastated defeat in the Carabao Cup versus a League 2 team. Oh, he spoke on the young players in his team, how they need to learn, how they need to do better, including Seria Anderson.
But it's a learning curve for the younger ones, a learning curve for us, because it's not just the younger ones. We had an experienced, midfield and front ones, and they weren't good enough. Karoy again got sent off here, which is a learning curve for him, because I told him half time don't do anything stupid, and he's so honest, but he has to learn, and this is the learning curve for these younger ones.
So you can hear Nathan Jones speaking. He was furious. He was still wondering, like, why did Seria Anderson make such a silly mistake and cost his team? His team was getting back into the game as well. So let me know what you think. Again, look, he's going to be 21 in a few months from now. Him still have a long way to go. But I'm just wondering that if Seria Anderson is a player that needs to drop down into the lower tier, maybe League 1, League 2, something like what Kaim Dixon, and just start to build back a momentum in a league, in a tier, is it overseas? I don't know, but him still have a few more years left back on his contract. Look, if this year goes by and there's nothing around Seria Anderson, look, if the reggaeboyz make it to the World Cup, his spot will be in big problem, because what the team fell out of, the Carabao Cup, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Seria Anderson to get some minutes for Charlton Athletic this season. And he already played like 1 minute. I think he already played like 1 minute in the championship. He start both games in the Carabao Cup, so there's no more Carabao Cup for Charlton Athletic. It's all about from here until the end of the season. It will be the FA Cup. And I think the FA Cup journey will begin sometime around November. So again, there will be limited space, and the FA Cup is not a midweek schedule, it is a weekend schedule. So when there's a FA Cup, there will not be any league games in action. So again, his game time will be limited, and I wouldn't be surprised there will be a lot of probably a few more departures coming from that football club, including a Karoy Anderson to just go out on loan, get some game time, get some minutes on their belt, get some momentum going, get back a very good season. And I'm saying this, look, if he is looking at the national team of I should get picked for the September, October, November window, and in the future as well for when we make it to the FIFA World Cup, which I still think we're going to make it, but it's just going to be a tough journey. He needs to leave the football club because he's not going to get any minutes any close to where he played last season. I think he played around over 1,500 minutes last season in League One. The season before that, he played like almost 2,000 minutes. So you could see the drop off of where Karoy Anderson is coming. Only 1 minute so far, I think, in the 3 games that they played so far, or 4 games that they played so far in the championship. He's not a regular starter. He's not a regular member coming off the bench. So what is the purpose of Karoy Anderson starting or staying at a Charlton Athletic Football Club at the moment? But moving on, again, this is, look, the truth about J.Hibbert. Jesse Marsh finally break the silence about J.Hibbert to Canadian men's national team, and this is what the Canada coach has to say around the the former reggae boy player J.Hibbert.
Timing to get him involved now, and for him to see what this is all about, for him to learn what our team is about, who I am, what we're trying to build here. I think the timing is perfect. And by the way, he's another guy that I didn't have to go to and say, hey, come and be part of the Canadian national team. He feels Canadian. He wants to be part of this. So we're really excited. I think it'll be great to have him in. Great to see what his level's at. And I believe in his potential completely. He's very interested and most interested in representing Canada. I know he's felt pressure from Jamaica, but Jaden has made it clear that this is something that he really wants to pursue and something he feels very strongly about. I think it's really important that they feel the tie to being Canadian. People have sometimes given me credit for finding dual nationals, but it's turned out more that the dual nationals have found me. Those for me are the exact kind of guys that we want.
Yeah, so you could say again, you said that, look, players coming to him that they want to play for the national team. He's not the one that really going out there to say, hey, look, I'm going to get these players who have dual national citizenship. And again, J.Hibbert, man, such a fantastic goalkeeper. I'm still in that nutshells of, look, how did this happen? But then again, when you listen to the coach speak and how J.Hibbert want to play for the Canadian, he said again he feel pressured in situation to make the black, green and gold, and he feel more Canadian. Look, if a player don't want to represent the national team, it's the right thing. He made the right decisions. He went to the right place where they will accept him, where he will accept himself more as a Canadian rather than a Jamaican. So again, no bad blood, no bad feelings. The player make a decision on his behalf of himself and his family, and he feel like, again, playing for the Canadian men's national team, it will probably do a lot for his career as well. And probably Jesse Marsh is that manager, can help him go to the next level. So again, respect for the time that he played for the national team over that little spell in the friendly game under Hemiral games in Trinidad and Tobago. So that was the truth around J.Hibbert. And even the goalkeeper issues around, look, Jamal Wade, Tafari Chamber, Shaquan Davis, look, Andre Blake will not be there. And I just feel like, where we go from here, again, with no Andre Blake, I'm not so overly the moon confidence about a Jamal Wade playing for the national team. I mean, look, when I look on his stats, when I look on his track records this season, it's a little bit better than his last USL campaign. Look, I think the last 4 games that he played, he got like 3 clean sheets, but then again, it goes back to the games where Andre Blake picked up that knee injury and didn't. And then Andre Blake wasn't around in the Copa America squad, Jamal Wade, and he never really looked out of place. But then again, I still have a little bit of doubt around Jamal Wade game. I do think, look, after Andre Blake, what next for the national team? who will be that number one goalkeeper. And I don't think, Jamal Away will be that goalkeeper, to be honest. I'm not sure. I don't know if because we live in this Andre Blake era for such a very long time, over a decade now, of service for the national team, we can't see who will be the next goalkeeper. But again, anyone can rise, anyone can, fill that position. But it's all about when you get your chance, you need to take it. But look, I do think that, after Andre Blake stopped represent the national team, when that day come where he said, look, I'm going to hang up my boots, this will be it, I will hang up my gloves, this will be it for the national team, who will be next? And I do think maybe the national team will go out and recruit, somebody who's probably more competent in their own eyes, someone who is playing at a higher level. And I don't think, this time, look, Jamal Away been playing in the USL for a couple of years now, and there's no movement, someone who did play in the Copa America. I think that the Copa America might could have shined a little bit of light on him, but it didn't. I think at the time he went to El Paso Locomotive in the USL. So again, where Jamal Away will go from here, and I do think at the end of the year it will be a massive year, because I think his contract will up at the USL club. But the goalkeeper situation, it's very sticky around the national team. Let me know what you guys think. Who will be those three goalkeepers? For my choice, I think Jamal Away, Tafari Chambers, and probably Shaquan Davis. If there's a core Adai, it's available and his documents are there, but he wasn't even on the watch list. So why even call his name? So I mean, that will be my top three goalkeeper that might be in around the national team for the September window, and the squad that expecting him tomorrow as well. Tafari Chambers, Shaquan Davis, and also Jamal Away. And going to that squad, Jamal Away should be the number one, more experienced. He got the more he got majority of the game times, when Andre Blake is sitting out with an injury or they're resting him. So that's it with my goalkeepers. And again, Norman Campbell, Norman Campbell, start out the season fantastic. Very good start of the Danish league. In the Danish league so far, he did it last campaign. If you go back to last season, I think his first 10 games, he got like 3 goals and an assist in the first 10 games as last season. This season, I think they played around 7 games so far. I think one of them was a playoff, and around 6 to 7, league games so far. And he had like 2 goals, 2 assists, very, very good start, and farm. But it's been a little bit of a bad results in the last couple of games, for his club, for himself as well. It's been a dry spell for him. But again, starting well is key, but how you manage to keep a consistent run going. And I do think that, for his second spell in the Danish Super League, I think, going into his second year, he's on a long-term contract. I think he will, after the end of this season, he will have like probably 2-3 more years left back on his contract for Randers in the Danish Super League in Scandinavia. So again, a whole lot of time still on his hand to try to make progress, try to be that man, try to to get his career to the next level. And when I said get to the next level, it's all about getting to the mainland countries, like France, Germany, Spain, even England. You never know, but he's right there, he's very close. But it's all about how he's going to manage his career in the middle part of his league phase. He ended well last season properly, and he didn't really in the middle part of the season didn't really do much for the football club. I know, look, he represent the national team when we played, I think I think we played the Central American teams, and he did very well. Now, we've seen that, look, Leon Bailey picked up an injury, and, Norman Campbell is one of our brightest wingers, someone who is on farm, someone who scored goals, so far this season, assists so far this season, playing well this season, not just scoring, not just assisting, but he's playing well. He seems like he's very fit. It seems like he had a very good preseason. I didn't really see much of his preseason game, but looking at how he's playing, he looked like he's 100% in the right body shape. His fitness level is right up there. Health-wise, he's up there. Probably, he's probably at this moment where he's just the fittest part of his career so far. So again, Weedy, Leon Bailey will be missing. A few key players will be missing. I think if he's going to take his opportunity again, this is the time for Norman Campbell to come in and reinstate back himself in the national team, get himself back into the eyes of the public of the national team. The fans, the Reggae Boy fans need to see, a little bit of, a progress in his career. Look, still, many people can say that he's still a little bit erratic, raw, a little bit in his gameplay, but I see a level of progress in his performance. This season so far, I think he's kind of a little bit smoother where he's playing in more advancing role. He's playing like a number 10, so that shows me that he's learning the game a little bit better. He's learning the game and adapting, in different scenarios and how his club managers want him to play. But if he's going to take any opportunity, and I do think that Norman Campbell should get select in this team because on farm he's right there, minutes he's right there, playing time he's right there, and he's healthy and he's fit, and that's what we ask for our players to do consistently at their club. So he's doing everything that we ask for as fans out here, that you need to be doing the goal, you need to be getting the minutes, scoring the goals, doing the assists, helping the team. You health-wise, you should be fit, and he's right up there. I think he will tick probably 4 or 5 of the boxes that we really want from our players when they playing for their club teams. So that's all I have to say. Norman Campbell, if he get his time, if he get his selection for tomorrow, he should go ahead and grab it with both, and especially with Leon Bailey out at this moment, with his injury. He won't be back until the end of September, and I'm not sure if he will rise up to the standard of where we want Leon Bailey to be for upcoming games in October as well. So Norman Campbell have some very good time on his hand that, look, this is a moment he needs to take. And look, again, with the likes of, a Macy Greenwood, who that, potentially might be on the card for selection in the near future as well. He needs to take his opportunity. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Bless upon yourself. Thanks for watching. This is Nicardo Media House. I'm out. Salute.